Caelan clicked his tongue with irritation. Nelly, enough. Is this how you show you're not angry? Stop pretending in front of me. You need to stay here until the party is over. You're not going anywhere. Then he put his arm around Isabel's waist and walked away. I hid in a corner and tried to withstand the pain. My face was pale. Finally, the party ended, however. Isabel said her emerald earring fell into the pool. When Caelan heard this, he turned to me and said, Isabel and I have another event to attend. Nelly, jump in and get it. Caelan, I can't. I grabbed his sleeve with my shaky hand and said, my belly hurts. Please take me to the hospital. When Caelan heard that, his face darkened. He yanked my hand away and said, stop with the act. Haven't you had enough? It's just a small favor for Isabel, yet you won't do it and act out. I gritted my teeth and said, I'm not lying. I'm bleeding. Please take me to the hospital. The pain in my belly felt like I was being punched over and over. Warm blood kept flowing out. Caelan still did not believe me. Where's the blood? Stop pretending. I was wearing a black dress. Even if it were stained, the blood would not show. But if he just sniffed, he would smell the blood in the air. I forced myself to stay calm through the pain and explained to Caelan, listen carefully. I'm pregnant. If the bleeding doesn't stop, I'll lose the baby. Take me to the hospital. Now. Caelan froze for a moment and then snapped. How low can you go, Nelly? You'd make up a story like this just to avoid helping. We've been married for years, and you never got pregnant. Now you're suddenly pregnant the second I ask for a favor. Do you think I'm stupid? Then he pointed toward the pool and said, jump in and grab Isabel's earring. If you're bleeding, great. Wash off so you don't stink up the place. Caelan paused. He probably thought he was not harsh enough, so he added, if you don't do it, we're getting a divorce. At this moment, I felt completely empty inside. I stared at him and said, good. That's exactly what I want. I've already drawn up the papers. Expect them soon. He fell silent and looked at me in disbelief. He probably could not believe that I, who had been his devoted follower for 10 years, would really divorce him after I said that. I tried to walk past them to leave, but Isabel took advantage of my distraction and suddenly pushed me from behind. I was caught off guard and fell into the pool with a splash. The water was freezing and quickly engulfed me. I struggled to keep my head above water and shouted for help, but my body felt heavy like lead. As the rippling water showed their figures walking away, I began to sink and helplessly closed my eyes. When I woke up, I was in the hospital. The person who saved me was Andrew Collins, a friend who knew about my relationship with Caelan. After getting me to the hospital, he called both our parents. John Sullivan, Caelan's dad, was frantically trying to reach Caelan, but he was not answering. That brat. He did this to Nelly and still won't pick up his phone. They are a couple. No matter how much they fight, how could he leave her in the pool? What if something had happened to her? Andrew could not stand it anymore and said, Nelly, he's trying to kill you. You should call the police. When he mentioned the police, Lucy Graham, my stepmother, finally seemed worried. She had been quiet until this point. She quickly grabbed my hand and said, Nelly, it's normal for couples to have small fights. Just talk it out privately. Don't make it a big deal. If you do, your marriage with Caelan will be ruined. Her words made me feel cold inside. I treated Lucy like my own mother, but she was plotting against me. She did not care about how Caelan treated me. She just wanted me to stay as Caelan's wife so that I could help her take care of her son. Even Andrew could not take it anymore. He shook his head and said, Mrs. Warren, this isn't just a small fight. If I hadn't found Nelly in time, she might not have made it. Lucy rolled her eyes at him with annoyance and replied, You're not married. What do you know? Andrew was at a loss for words and went quiet. I quietly pulled my hand away from Lucy and said, Mom, you don't need to try to change my mind. I want a divorce from Caelan. Lucy looked shocked and quickly exchanged glances with John across the room. They were both surprised. Everyone knew how much I liked Caelan, so no one expected me to say I wanted a divorce. Lucy continued, Nelly, didn't you and Caelan have a solid relationship? Why are you suddenly saying you want a divorce? I told you when you were going to marry him that he has a childish side. You need to be more understanding. Childish was just an excuse for a man not taking responsibility. I snorted, pulled out my phone, and showed them Isabel's social media post. Mom, You can't be saying that being understanding means I should watch my husband get close to another woman, right? On my phone was a photo Isabel recently posted. She and Caelan were hugging closely, and Isabel was puckering her lips to kiss Caelan on the cheek. Lucy and John went pale when they saw it. They finally got it. It was not that I was not understanding. It was that Caelan was going too far. John's expression darkened. He made a call and said sternly, "Get that brat over here right now." The room went quiet for a moment. Then Lucy awkwardly said, "Men are like that. These things happen. What's important is that you give him a chance to change. Nobody is perfect. People make mistakes." Her absurd comments made the two men in the room feel uncomfortable. I did not want to argue with her, so I simply said, "Mom, if your son's wife cheats in the future, would you still tell him to be understanding and give her a chance?" Lucy opened her mouth but could not say anything in response. She could only signal to John and hoped he would help her out. Just then, someone kicked the door open. Caelan burst into the room. He looked around at everyone and sneered. "Nellie, you've really learned some tricks. You even got all these people to fool me. Weren't you the one who wanted a divorce? So why are you looking for me now? Just so you know, once I say something, I don't take it back. If you regret it now, that's too late." Then, to vent his anger, he grabbed the water from the table and splashed it all over my face. John immediately shouted, "Stop it, Nellie." But before John could finish, Caelan interrupted. "Dad, quit with the act. If she wants a divorce, I'll give it to her." Just then, I started coughing violently. Water backed up into my nose through the breathing tube. I started to choke and had trouble breathing as I coughed harder. I noticed blood on the clear breathing tube, but I felt like I was suffocating. I gripped my throat tightly, as if I were drowning. Andrew quickly called for the nurses and doctors. He pushed Caelan away and shouted, "Caelan, are you out of your mind? Do you know how long she was in the water? She can't breathe on her own right now. Are you trying to kill her by splashing water on her?" Caelan stood there, stunned. Seeing my face turn red from lack of air, he panicked and said, "I didn't know. I didn't mean to." Yeah, how would Caelan know? While I was struggling in the water, he was busy kissing Isabel. After the nurses and doctors helped me, Andrew grabbed Caelan by the collar and punched him twice. Then he threw my medical report at Caelan and said, "Look at what you've done. You left your pregnant wife in the water and caused her to miscarry. She almost died. How can you call yourself human after this?" "What? Miscarriage?" Caelan looked shocked and quickly picked up the report. After reading it, he started shaking uncontrollably. When Caelan Sullivan got home, I was packing for the camping trip that I had loved hiking since I was young, and Caelan knew that I begged him for a long time to let me join this trip, and he finally agreed. But just before we were supposed to leave, he changed his mind. With a disgusted look, he said, "You're a cripple. Why do you want to climb a mountain? Why do you always do things that embarrass me?" Then he walked off without looking back. Something I had been excited about for 6 months fell through just because he said it was embarrassing. Caelan kicked the stuff on the floor and said irritably, "You do nothing but sit around all day. Can't you at least clean up the house? It's a mess." He threw a jewelry box at me. "It's for you." Isabel helped me pick it out. "Open it." The red velvet box looked exquisite, but I had seen it in Isabel Turner's post before. It was a selfie of her wearing a necklace worth millions of dollars behind her. Caelan was smiling as he paid for it. I remembered the caption. The CEO asked me to help him pick out a necklace, and then he gave it to me. What's that supposed to mean? Other people eagerly responded. What else could it mean? It was obviously meant for you. He's being straightforward. The cold CEO is being direct. I recognized the necklace. The valuable one was the one Isabel took, and the box I had only contained a freebie. "Thanks, but I don't like it." I closed the box and threw it in the trash can. Caelan got angry when he saw me do this. "Isabel picked it out for you because she meant well. Don't be so ungrateful. Pick it up right now. Do you hear me?" I stood still and did not move. To my surprise, Caelan walked over, shoved me hard and yelled, "Nellie, you stupid cripple. Stop acting like you can't hear me. I'm giving you a way out, but you won't take it. Why are you acting so high and mighty?" Caelan pushed me hard and I lost my balance. I stumbled back a few steps and hit my lower back on the corner of the table. I groaned and fell to the floor. I shook from the pain. When Caelan saw this, he panicked and quickly came over to help me. He apologized. I went too far earlier. Don't take it to heart. So he knew that calling me a cripple was too much, that I got this leg injury while trying to save Caelan during a camping trip when he fell into a ravine. At first, he was grateful and always avoided mentioning my leg injury. But then Isabel showed up. She was the first to call me Miss Cripple. Caelan did not scold her. Instead, he laughed with her after that. He often called me a cripple to insult me. Caelan wanted to pick me up and take me to the hospital, but just then, his phone rang. Caelan glanced at his phone and quickly answered. Isabel's tearful voice came through. Caelan, help me. Someone's following me.
I'm scared.
Caelan shot up immediately and spoke softly to calm her. Don't worry, Isabel. I'm coming to get you. Isabel kept crying. Will Ms. Warren be mad that I called you for help so late? Caelan gave me a quick glance and coldly snorted. Who cares if she gets mad? Your safety is more important. He ended the call and rushed to the door without looking back at me. Caelan, I called out. Irritated, he clicked his tongue. He turned around and said, Didn't you hear that Isabel's in danger? Stop making trouble. I interrupted him. Can you grab my phone? I need to call an ambulance. He was stunned after hearing that. I continued. Since you're not taking me to the hospital, I'll have to call an ambulance myself. That seemed to remind him I was hurt. He quickly made the call. Before leaving, he shot me a few guilty looks. I'll come see you at the hospital later. I spent the night in the hospital, but Caelan never showed up. When I got home after being discharged, I saw that Isabel had posted something new on her alternate account. She wrote that a stalker followed her home, so she had to hide in a convenience store because she was scared. Fortunately, Caelan arrived just in time. He beat up the stalker, but the guy managed to cut Caelan's stomach with a small knife during the fight. There was even a picture of Caelan lying at Isabel's place with his shirt lifted and waiting to be treated. The comments were buzzing. Oh my God, those abs. What do they feel like? Isabel replied. I'll tell you after I enjoy them. Soon after, I came across a video of the whole incident that the convenience store staff posted. The footage showed Caelan beating the stalker up until the guy could not move. After wiping the blood off his hands, Caelan suddenly pulled Isabel into his arms and gently comforted her. His eyes were full of warmth and care. The sweet scene made my heart hurt. On our wedding anniversary a year ago, he suddenly asked me out for dinner. I dressed up and waited for a long time at the restaurant, but he never came. A few thugs suddenly surrounded me and tried to pull me into an alley. Luckily, Caelan showed up just in time. I managed to break free and ran to him. I cried and told him someone was trying to kidnap me. But after hearing that, he looked displeased. Nelly, enough. I can't believe you're trying to get my attention by pulling such a stunt. Who would want you, a useless cripple? I already said I would celebrate our anniversary with you. Isn't that enough? I'm having dinner with Isabel tonight. Just go home and stop embarrassing yourself. With that, he pulled Isabel into the restaurant. As they walked past me, Isabel tossed her hair back proudly to show off a pair of emerald earrings. I recognized those earrings. Caelan had wanted to buy them for me as an anniversary gift. Later, he told me someone else had gotten them, but Isabel was wearing them. That night when I got home, I saw the scratch marks on my neck and felt scared. I did not want to think about what could have happened if I had not escaped afterward. Caelan made it up to me with a homemade dinner, and he managed to win me over. That was a year ago, but I still sometimes dreamed about how scared I was that night, as well as Caelan's angry words. I would always wake up in tears. But today, when I thought back on it, all I felt was disappointment. In the end, I texted the divorce lawyer my friend recommended. Hi, I'd like to consult you about getting a divorce. Caelan did not come home until the next afternoon. When he saw me, he looked relieved and said, I forgot to go to the hospital. I didn't think you'd be out so soon. It must not be serious. I did not tell him it was serious, that I had a spinal misalignment, and if I had waited longer to go to the hospital, I might have had a miscarriage. But I kept quiet and hummed in agreement. While loosening his tie, Caelan talked about what happened last night. I was going to visit you after dropping Isabel off, but she was still scared. As her boss, I have to care for her. He came closer, hugged my waist from behind, and asked, You're not mad, are you? The scent of a woman's perfume on him made me feel sick. I moved away and said, Of course not. It's fine for you to help since she's a woman. Happy with my answer, Caelan leaned in to kiss me. That was when I noticed his shirt was wide open. I stopped him and pointed to the hickey on his neck. What's this? Caelan quickly straightened up and awkwardly tried to explain. It's probably just a mosquito bite. I asked the question not because I did not know the answer. On the contrary, I knew what it was. But I nodded calmly anyway. Caelan always tried to make up to me after he did something wrong, and this time was no different. That he gave me a new dress and said he would take me to a party. Our marriage was a secret. Caelan had not taken me to any events since my leg got injured. That was when Isabel came into the picture. She was beautiful, had a great figure, and had graduated from a top university. That I once overheard Caelan talking to his friends that he said, "I always feel proud whenever I take someone like Isabel out. She's not like Nellie, who's old and disabled." To prevent Caelan from noticing anything wrong and causing issues before the divorce, I agreed to go with him to the party. Isabel and her friends kept looking at us. Finally, the girls could not hold back and ran over to Caelan. "I heard you're after Isabel. Is that true?" Caelan looked at me, paused for a moment and then said, "Yes." I turned away and suddenly felt a sharp pain in my belly. They pointed at me with a confused look. "Who is she?" Caelan did not know how to answer. Just then Isabel chimed in. "This is Caelan's housekeeper. Caelan treats his housekeeper really well. He even brings her to parties like this to give her some experience in elite circles." Then she smiled at Caelan and asked, "Right?" Upon hearing that, Caelan looked relieved and said, "Yeah, Isabel is right." The girls felt proud of themselves for helping Isabel figure out if Caelan was right for her, so they walked away feeling happy. Once her friends were gone, Isabel quickly took my hand and explained, "Ms. Warren, please don't be upset. I asked Caelan to act like he was interested in me. If I didn't, they would try to set me up with someone, and that would be annoying." Seeing I stayed silent, Caelan was displeased. "Nellie, we were just acting. Don't be so petty." Before, I would have made a big fuss and made everyone uncomfortable. But after everything that happened, I did not care anymore. "I'm not angry." The pain in my stomach got worse. I held my belly and could not stand up straight. "Caelan, can you take me home?"